What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Just a quick little introductory to this video. This is a quick clip, about 10 minutes, from the live stream the other night where myself, Flipping Steve, and Philmington all kind of talked about uh, pumping and dumping and, as a content creator, how you kind of handle some of this stuff. Just that sort of discussion. I felt like it was worthy of cutting out into its own little clip. It happened pretty late into the live stream. It was like almost 3 hours in at that point, 2.5 hours in. So this is going to be a little 10-minute clip from that live stream on Wednesday evening, kind of discussing pumping and dumping and a content creator angle on it. So smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's go ahead and cut over to that little clip.
I don't like the term. I think the term pump and dump is used a little loosely sometimes. Are people supposed to buy their cards and stuff that they like and say, hey, I'm buying crap? I just bought a Frank Thomas, Bo Jackson co-signers, numbered out of 5. I bought this card with no plan. I was walking through a card show and I saw it and I was like, damn, that's a pretty neat card I never see. I'm going to have this in my next video. Am I going to be accused of pumping that card? Or am I supposed to say, hey, I went to a card show and I bought this piece of shit? You know what I mean? Or am I supposed to say, hey, I went to a card show and I bought something that I like? I don't like how loosely that term can be used. And sometimes that term applies, but I think people use it too liberal across everything. When they see something go up in value and then they see people selling it, I mean, isn't that what this business is built around? I know that there's a hobby aspect to it and a business standpoint to it. But if there was no business aspect to it, there would be no hobby, because companies wouldn't be making cards if there was no business in it. So I agree in some aspects that yes, markets get run up and then people sell off. There's people who unfortunately get left holding a card that they may have overpaid for. And that's happened to everyone. That happens to the people who buy to resell. That happens to the people to buy to collect. So again, I could go off on a whole video of the term of pump and dump, but unless there's an actual thing that says, hey, this market is inflated only so people can sell, there has to be people to rebuy. There has to be people that are collecting. There has to be somebody willing to spend $5,000 on a Lewis Hamilton card. That's not me. That's definitely not me. But there's someone out there that is, probably because they collect it. And I'm not going to say that they're buying crap. I'm not going to say that someone is dumping them a card. And I'm not going to say that that market is pumped because they're willing to pay $5K because they have disposable income. I'm not at liberty to say that, unless I have facts. It's all opinionated. And I don't want this. It already has turned into a little bit of a rant on my point.
Nah, go, because I like what you're doing.
But, I get it. People see markets go up. They see Marvel PMGs go up, and then people buy them at a high price. But people are buying them because they want them. That's just a fact. People are buying them because they want them. People are selling them because they want to profit off of them. It's capitalism, right? So it's like, this is the world that we live in. Not only the world that we live in, the hobby that we choose to be in. So there's always going to be a business aspect to it. People are going to view it the way they want to view it. I'm not going to knock anybody's views, but that's the way that I see it. Rather, F1 is a pump and dump. Some people might see it as that. I'm going to choose to look at it as someone is buying something that they like and selling it to someone else that likes it even more than they like it. And that's the way that I'm going to look at it. And I have zero vested interest in F1. So
yeah, I don't think between the three of us, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I don't think any of us own an actual F1 card from 2020 or newer. I mean, I'll take it from the Marvel side of things, yeah, we showed, I bought a lot of cool Marvel cards. Yeah, I showed them on my channel. Did I sell Marvel cards? Yeah, but I took that money and kept the Marvel cards that I wanted to keep. You know what I mean? I sold some of the stuff to use that money to keep the stuff that I really wanted on the Marvel card side. I built a Spider-Gwen PMG little mini collection and some other stuff out of the profits from other Marvel cards. So, I'm riding the ship with that stuff, no matter what the prices do. And I said this on a couple different live streams on other channels and stuff. every single person, whether you're a content creator or not, if you have more than just a couple, Instagram followers, even if you're a small YouTube channel, I know Steve, you always joke that like I only have 4,000 subscribers, I can't move a market or whatever. You could have 100 subscribers. If you convince two people to go buy a card, whether intentionally or not,
Amen.
technically you manipulated the market
It's
on
the
that.
views. It's the views, not the subscribers.
Well, whatever.
It's true.
Regardless, though,
I have
if
4,000
you
subscribers,
could have
but
10
100
subscribers and
I
get
get
3
views
views
on
on a
my
video, if 2 of those people of those 3 views go out and buy a card, not because you told them to, but because they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I think I want to pick one of those up. Technically, you manipulated that market, even though it's just 2 people. And it's someone pointed out in chat, like it's a very fine line that you walk, especially as a content creator, on, the air quotes pumping and dumping versus, whatever. Just, it gets tricky. How do you even do a mail day video to like what you were saying earlier, Steve? Like, I bought, the Ken Griffey Jr. auto a couple weeks ago, and I did a video about it. What am I going to, oh yeah, look how shitty that auto is. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to get on and do that because I bought the card for a reason, because I like it.
You buy the sucky cards.
Yeah, maybe that'll be my next mail day video. Look at all these shitty cards I traded for and bought.
So I was going to add,
go for it.
A little over 2 years ago, I made a series, and everybody knows me for this series because that's where I got all the views.
Yeah, I remember watching this, actually. I know where you were going with this.
Speculation series.
Now, how big was your preface this? How big was your channel when you did this?
Between probably 1,000 and 1,500 when I started doing those, and I got up to like 10,000 views on some of those videos, and I kind of did it as like an accelerated way to grow my channel, to be honest. And I felt like a lot of people wanted me to make content like that. And at the time, it was really the sports card investor. And I'm like, okay, well, he's not really focusing on baseball. Maybe I can do this and provide a little bit more data and go a little bit deeper with some of these players. And they ended up being not the best choices, a lot of the players that I recommended. And Luis Arias was one of the players I recommended, who was like a super utility guy for the Twins. No power, just like, he's going to be a hobby nothing probably, unless he like ends up like Tony Gwynn 2.0, and even then people wouldn't appreciate him because nobody cares about Tony Gwynn contact hitters anymore. So Luis Arias, so somebody approached me at a card show a few months after I recommended Luis Arias, and he's like, oh, thank you so much for recommending Luis Arias in your video. I was able to sell like all of his crap for like so much more money. And I'm just like, all it takes to Neo's point, all it takes is 5 people to go online. And, at the time, 2019, print runs weren't super huge. Luis Arias probably didn't have a lot of availability on eBay and buy a few of his cards. And then you see like a spike in certain cards. I will say that I do pride myself in knowing that I didn't recommend any base cards back then. There was always parallels, golds, blacks, Bowman Chrome parallels, stuff like that. So at least that theme came out in those videos, but I did recommend a lot of bad players in hindsight.
Yeah, and I mean, for the 3 of us as content creators, regardless of channel size, it's almost like I don't even know how you create a lot of content without it coming off as at least some level of influence / market manipulation / pump, because the easiest thing, but like I said earlier, just me showing off a cool card that maybe someone never saw before, puts it on their radar, and then they go out and buy one. I mean, whether it's the classic market manipulation or not, technically I manipulated that market, whether I intended to or not. And I think I told this story before. I remember my channel, I think, was sub 1,000 subscribers. And I talked about a Kyler Murray PSA 10 one time being super cheap. And I thought it was undervalued. And it wasn't even like I did the whole video about it. It was like a 3-minute throwaway in a video. And the video posted. And I remember I looked at my eBay watch list like 2 hours later, and they all sold. And I'm not 100% sure that I did that, but like, it seems like an awful big coincidence. And I remember after that, I'm like, ugh, I need to be like a little more careful about the shit that comes out of my mouth.
All, man. Thanks.
What's that?
I was the one that bought all of them. Thanks for that.
Oh, well, you did all right on them as long as you sold them quick. They spiked up for a little bit.
You left that part out.
If you would have ran it into the ground. But I also think you've seen a shift, and I know Jeff gets a lot of shit for Sports Card Investor, but I mean, he did this too, and I myself really haven't made videos like this. You don't see a lot of at least from the guys that have been around for like 2 years now, you don't see a lot of like the uh, top 10 go buy this or that, or top 5 undervalued X, Y, or Z thing, which was like the low hanging fruit when it came to making content. I don't know that you really
Mhm.
see a lot of those videos anymore. I know I mean, I 100% made videos like that when I first started. I don't know, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that I've done a video like that in a year plus, probably. Philmington, I know that's not your style. I mean, you barely post a video to begin with right now. But I know, like, even like, recently you did a couple like your interview series and stuff. Like, you're always cognizant and like careful to say, like, I'm not saying run out and buy this player,
Yeah.
do your homework or whatever. And Steve, same thing. I don't think you've ever done a video of like go buy, top 5 things to go spend your money on or whatever.
You guys follow the rules. You guys do what you can to avoid manipulation. There's a certain set of unwritten rules that I think you guys do a great job following, and for the most part, I do as well. Now, when I do make speculation type videos, which I don't really do anymore for many reasons, and that's one of them, because I don't want to be, guilty, accused of pumping the market. I don't want to be accountable for people losing their money, things like that, and nobody can predict the future, right? But when I did make these videos when I was an absolute nothing, what helps is if you kind of provide context for what you own, So I would provide at the end of the videos, I have 1% in Luis Rise, right? Um,
Mhm.
I would also encourage people to do their own research, right? Like do your independent research. These are just, and also don't represent your opinions as facts. Don't say, oh, when Kobe Bryant makes the playoffs in 3 months, this card's going to be huge. It's going to obviously double. To your point, Neo, a lot of the creators we know of don't make content like that. They don't show up on our feeds, but though they do still exist. There's definitely still creators that do stuff like this and even charge people for picks. And
Oh
it'll
yeah,
be it'll
I
be
think we
cards
all know
that
who you're talking about on that one. We won't say any names, but
it'll
I
be
think
cards
everybody
they own.
knows.
They'll be like, I just picked up this green Mojo sticker autograph number to 99 PSA 9. It's a steal, and their reasoning will be terrible. That's the other thing. Like have a decent rationale. Like spend some time telling us why, other than you like the player. And why that card too? Why not another card? Present a counter argument. How about that? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I just always think it's an interesting topic.